LE, the longest map in the current pool. Let's see what we can get done, or what these players can get done, rather. As in the bottom left-hand corner map, spawning all the way in the bottom left-hand corner, we have the blue Protoss player coming down to represent Pakistan. Gonna be playing for Team Red Dragons. We have TeebuL.
And spawning in the top right-hand corner of Jagannatha LE, going for a pull first, we have the Filipino Zerg player representing Liab Esports. It is EnDerr.
There is no strategy or build that EnDerr will not pull out at least once in a tournament, is there, Light?
Nope.
And that's why we call him the general. That's why we call him the tactician. He will try sand just about everything, and we are looking in onto a PvZ right now, and that's actually really interesting for me, Light, as when it comes to TeebuL, my impression from him, at least from watching ANZ Champs, is PvP by far his best matchup. PvZ, he only played one. That was against Risky. I would probably say EnDerr is favored in this particular matchup, but I honestly just don't know.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to say, right? Like, a part of me feels like TeebuL and Risky, maybe they've been practicing together, but again, they are competing against each other. They've been in the same groups, and you know, they had to work through ANZ Champs and things of that nature, so it's kind of hard to say, at least when it comes to TeebuL. When it comes to EnDerr, mate, he went through the PvP gauntlet, like, especially over the weekend. There was so many Protosses, so many Southeast Asian Protosses alongside TeebuL all over the place, and that matchup was really put to the test for EnDerr.
It definitely was, but we did find out that he is very comfortable facing off against Protoss players, taking out the likes of Ranger and Whisk just off the top of my head.
Yeah, and when it comes to EnDerr's playstyle, this is something that he often did. He would go pool first, like he would go pool gas before hatch, and it wasn't necessarily to be like too aggressive. For whatever reason, it just felt like kind of a safety opening.
Yeah, I mean, maybe he's just been cannon rushed one too many times by someone like Leo Rusher or whatnot.
Yeah, it's definitely possible. I mean, you know, because of this, you get your Lings early out in case it's a proxy or a cannon rush. You can go across the map. You can get a scat off with your Lings as well. And we do see that TeebuL, he is going for a Stargate opening, but of course, it's here in the wall, and everything gets seen by EnDerr.
Indeed, it does, and eventually, he's probably also going to see a Void Ray, but we'll find out what TeebuL decides to build into. But till then, you know, neither player really being overly aggressive right now. I say that, but EnDerr, once again, just so proactive with denying scouts and whatnot. Just jumps right on top of this Adept and is looking to go in all the way.
Oh, and this is an interesting reaction here. We have a secondary pylon and a shield battery being thrown down for TeebuL. TeebuL, he's afraid of like a Ling Bane bust.
He absolutely is. Even skipping out on a Phoenix or a Void Ray just to go for that safety Oracle. I don't think that's rallied anywhere, is it?
No,
okay, now
I mean,
it's starting to get rallied across the map.
Yeah, he's actually scouting around, making sure there's no like pack of Lings or Banes like waiting and ready to go in. And again, because of these Lings, he was able to deny scouting. EnDerr he was able to kill that Adept. And TeebuL, he's very much so blind. He's relying on this Oracle to go across the map to see what his opponent is doing.
And it turns out his opponent is not doing much, but a lot of anti-air. I do not think that Oracle is long for this world. Does stick out a drone and gets a little bit of scouting done here, but EnDerr not committing to any tech path as of yet, still staying only on that spawning pool.
Yeah, he's just droning up, getting spores in all his bases, making sure he's safe. He is working on that pneumatized carapace as well, so we can get the scout off, make sure he knows, you know, whether TeebuL, he throws down another tech structure, whether he decides to do something out of the ordinary. As at the moment, you know, he's just kind of chilling.
I think EnDerr's just afraid of the Void Ray, honestly. He got that Overlord the heck out of there. Pneumatized carapace. Time to book it. Ooh. Double Oracle now in position right now for TeebuL, and this is enough firepower for him to start to really put the hurt in on his third opponent. But only 2 drones go down. Could have been much, much worse for EnDerr.
Yeah, definitely. Only two drones go down. And the important thing is, I was wondering what he was going to throw down, and it looks like it will be that second Stargate, and it looks like EnDerr, despite the Void Ray, is going to be able to scout it.
Indeed, he will. That pneumatized carapace really working out for him, really paying off. And interestingly enough, TeebuL is going for more Void Rays, so I do have to wonder, did he scout that Roach Warren?
Oh, we do have to wonder, as so far he has not scattered anything, any Roach Warren, especially since it did get cancelled. As we do have another Evo Chamber on the way, we do have more Lings on the way as well.
I love this from EnDerr, just completely dictating this pace of the game, forcing TeebuL to build into the Stargate army with these Void Rays, but how are they going to help at all against potential +1 Lings?
That is the question, because the Lings, they are just coming in. Looks like they're looking to try and deny this base, and TeebuL, oh, he turns around.
He does turn around. Does not want to cancel it just yet, but will be forced to right at the end. Going to be concentrating every single one of his units here to just get rid of the Ling run by. Void Rays take a little bit of time to kill these Zerglings, but Oracles do it in a matter of seconds.
Exactly, and it's so important that essentially EnDerr, he's just keeping TeebuL back at home.
He very much so is, and here's a question I got for you, Light. You thought EnDerr was going to go +1 melee, weren't you? I'm not insane, am I?
No. We have, I mean, I was very curious what it was going to be. I was a little bit concerned if it was going to throw down the Spire, because against double Stargate, like, I can't imagine that working. We have a Hydralisk Den on the way. Mate, he's going full me Micah, Ling Hydra.
He is going Ling Hydra. He may not have changed his name, much like the rest of ANZ/C, but EnDerr, he is Real Micah's right-hand man. He is his disciple in many ways, and he is going straight for that Hydra Ling style. I like it a lot against this Stargate play. What are Void Rays going to do against Hydras is the questions you really want to ask.
They're going to die, mate. That's what they're going to do. They're just going to be blown out of the sky, especially if they're out of position, and which could happen because we have a Nidus on the way. EnDerr looking to attack as soon as possible.
As soon as possible, but there honestly aren't that many Hydras out right now, and TeebuL, his +1 Sky Toss weapons, has finished up here, so we'll see if he can get a little bit done. That's a lot of Queens though, and I do see enough energy for Transfuse on at least a couple of them.
Exactly, all the Queens are jumping into that Nidus. The Nidus is going to be going up. We don't see any drones, so no spores are going to be thrown down across the map, but mate, he's got plenty of anti-air. That
he does. And TeebuL turns right around. He has no idea where this Nidus is, but he has a little bit of an inkling. All right, charge about halfway down right now for TeebuL, but I don't think it's really going to come into play. Nice use of battery overcharge, but again, the transfuse from the Queens. The amount of anti-air here is not quite going to be enough.
Oh yeah, there is enough here, especially with that shoe battery overcharge. With all these Void Rays, it gets pushed back, but they go straight into the main.
That they do. That was just a diversion right now from EnDerr. This is a general. This is his tactics. But now I feel like we're getting a little bit of critical mass from EnDerr. Maybe not quite yet, but against what TeebuL's got, it's got to be worrisome.
Well, yes.
You cannot engage into that many Hydras with what you have as TeebuL.
Yeah, especially because there's no stack defense. Like, the shoe batteries and the cannons were at the third base, but there's nothing here in the main.
No, there is not. Storm not even going to be researched right now. A single Archon going to come out, and that can definitely act as a little bit of a tank for TeebuL right now. Really nice feedback, just preventing any transfuse from coming up.
Exactly, and
what's
so important
is just about broken it.
Yeah, and what's so important is that we do have all the production going down here in the main base. Like, and TeebuL, he's supply blocked, he can't warp in. Like, he only has one active Stargate, one active Warp Gate.
And I mean, that was a decent stasis ward as well, but as you said, there's just no production right now for TeebuL, no supply for him, and just look at all of these Hydras making their way right on top of TeebuL's economy. They don't even have muscular augments right now. Like, they're taking their time because they know that they're going to be able to kill TeebuL.
Exactly, they're slowly leapfrogging forward, and it looks like there's just too much of GG gets called.
And EnDerr once again really showing what he's capable of. I feel like he's gonna take it now, Light. I feel like it's starting to look a little pessimistic right now for TeebuL.
Yeah, definitely. As we do see EnDerr takes game number 1. We'll see if he can make it a 2-0 after this break.
Yeah, we will. See you soon. And we are now back after that game number 1 of EnDerr versus TeebuL. We are going in to game number 2, where, I mean, I'm still kind of processing what went on earlier on. Mass Void Ray versus Mass Hydra. That was honestly a pretty genius move from EnDerr, just really forcing TeebuL to play the way he wanted to.
Yeah, definitely. Like, it all came down to EnDerr. He was on point with his scouting. He saw the double Stargate, knew that TeebuL was committing to that air army, and immediately cancels that Roach Warren, throws down the Evo Chamber, throws down the Hydralisk Den, and just goes for it.
Indeed, he did, and we'll see what he's got in store for us here. On to Death Aura, where in the bottom right-hand corner map, spawning all the way in the bottom right-hand corner, we have the blue Protoss player coming out to represent Pakistan. Gonna be playing for Team Red Dragons. Get your roars out. I actually don't know what their tagline is. We have TeebuL.
And spawning in the top left-hand corner of Death Aura LE, we have the Filipino Zerg player representing Liab Esports. He's currently up 1-0 in this best of 3. Can he make it a 2-0 and advance to the next round? We have EnDerr.
Coming out with another cool first here. But will it be for safety this time? Somehow, I got a feeling in my bones, light. Somehow, I feel like EnDerr may be a bit more aggressive this game.
We'll see.
We will see.
Yeah. For whatever reason, he's very fond of this. Like, he is willing to take that economic disadvantage just to be safe, and he'll just, come back in the game anyway.
Yeah, and I think a lot of it does just come down to the fact that EnDerr, he's very confident in his ability to defend. He just does not. I feel like he really has these timings down where he knows, okay, this is where I defend and I drone up and I just focus on these kind of things. This is where I, should probably put some pressure on my opponent, force them to stay on their side of the map. And for now, that is not that time. We are in the start of the game.
Yeah, pretty much. So far, the openers are pretty standard. Obviously, because of the earlier pool, because of the earlier gas, we have these links coming out. We have link speed on the way. And this is the other thing that it feels like. EnDerr, like, the reason why EnDerr goes for a pool first is because he finds it annoying to expand at the third base location as is natural instead of here. So, he gets the links to deal with the pylon. Yeah,
which honestly I do quite like there. I mean, you do set yourself a little bit behind in terms of the economy, but I think we have mentioned that before. EnDerr, he is more than fine with that, so long as it means that he's going to be able to get into the mid-game safely.
Yeah, it's also possible that maybe he's just not very confident in his defense against Glaive Adepts. And we do see that if you're forced to take your natural a little bit further away, it can be a little bit more difficult to defend against that, so yeah, this is kind of his solution.
Well, it's a little crude, but you know what? It works, like. EnDerr will not have to worry about that. That is a Stargate being thrown down right now for TeebuL. Another Mass Void Ray? Question mark?
We'll see. I mean, it was pretty cheeky for TeebuL to go for a second Stargate last game. Would he do it again?
I can't imagine he would. I mean, one thing I know for sure, TeebuL probably won't get bamboozled a second time by EnDerr with that cheeky roach cancel earlier on.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see how this goes. If you recall in the previous game, TeebuL, he went for an Oracle first. So if he decides to go for a Void Ray, like, that will definitely help. That means he'll be able to clear out the Overlords, make it a little bit harder for EnDerr to scout.
But no, instead TeebuL will in fact go into that Oracle. And not rattling it across the map again. I just feel like TeebuL isn't very confident in his Ling defense against EnDerr, which can't really blame him. If you watch that series against Risky, you probably think, EnDerr, man, he's got so much Ling floods up his sleeve.
Yeah, I mean,
I gotta prepare against that.
Yeah, like, EnDerr has that reputation for being like the overly aggressive Zerg player, and I mean, he was, right? Like, he went for this big aggressive push. We had a lot of Ling floods to deny the third base as well in game number 1. So yeah, TeebuL playing this a little bit safer, but it looks like he is, sending his Oracle across the map once he realizes that he is safe and secure on 2 bases, looking to deal some damage.
And show me that damage, TeebuL. Show me the micro. With only one Oracle, again, it's just not as easy, I would say, to micro these Oracles. You don't have as much opportunity as you would with double. But yeah, the Oracle is starting to come back. A little bit of damage already being done on one of these. So TeebuL, he will still have to play it a little safe.
Yeah, definitely. And EnDerr, he did get that Pneumatase Carapace, once again got that Overlord speed. He went in, he scouted the Stargate, he scouted the Robo, so he knows that there is no second Stargate, confirms the tech of TeebuL, and hey, yeah, he's good. He knows.
Yeah, it's feeling pretty good, and for now, we're just gonna wait for either one of these players to build up their armies. Again, EnDerr, a little hesitant to tech in any sort of direction. There we go, there's the Roach Run being thrown down at a similar timing to the lair.
Yeah,
and
again,
now that EnDerr knows... Yeah, now that EnDerr knows that TeebuL is going for the Robo Facility, I can't imagine he'd cancel that and go for a fake out again, right?
No. I mean, there's no reason to at the moment. We'll see as we are nearing the, past the 5-minute mark, and there we go. EnDerr, he's going for another scout just to confirm, what the follow-up from this is for TeebuL. Meanwhile, he's being active out on the map with these Lings, looking to try and catch a couple of transferring workers, whatever damage he can.
Yeah, or a couple of Adepts, but no. EnDerr would much rather keep those Zerglings alive for map control than risk taking out just a handful of Adepts. And with that, EnDerr just about confirms everything TeebuL wants to get done. Sees the Forge coming down, so we'll know that TeebuL is building up to a timing attack. We'll see how EnDerr prepares his defenses for that. Okay, nice anti-air on the Oracles.
Yeah, so the Oracles are able to tag just to make sure. They confirm the lair, they'll confirm any other units that come out of the main. But as you were saying, EnDerr, he confirms that there is a Twilight Council, there is +1 on the way, so you can deduce that it is going to be, charge lots, but ooh, we have some Adepts going to the 3rd.
Yeah, and they are Glaiveless, but they're still getting a decent amount of damage done on these drones. TeebuL, with that target firing, going to be able to take out 7 drones so far, and the Oracles come in to clean up even more.
Jesus Christ, 8 drones end up going down, and I mean, EnDerr, he cleans it up, but he lost a Queen as well, and mate, I'm waiting for it. I'm waiting for the hidden tech. There it is. We got the Spire.
Wow. I feel like we do see this a little bit more often nowadays, just going for a little bit of proxy to really psych your opponent out, but this is a massive psych. I mean, TeebuL, he knows that EnDerr is going for that Roach Warren, and I feel like as a Protoss player, you do imagine that, your Zerg opponent is going to go for that Roach tag. They want to go Roach Ravager against Soul Trains and what have you. But no, EnDerr going for +1 Ling. Does he have a Baneling Nest? Not quite yet. But yeah, +1 Lings with Mutalisks on the way. That's going to be pretty tough to deal with if you're TeebuL.
We do see that EnDerr at the moment, he's banking up as much gas as he can. As soon as the Spire is done, there it is. 8 Mutalisks on the way. +1 melee is about to finish up as well, so he will have this nice timing where he can attack with his Lings and his Mutalisks. And at the moment, TeebuL, he has no idea. He still hasn't scouted the Proxy Spire.
TeebuL is being so diligent with these hallucinated phoenixes, but he doesn't realize that the tech just isn't in EnDerr's base. EnDerr trying to go for a bit of a run by here, does rush again to the natural base, and I can't imagine he get too much damage done, but he will confirm that's the Templar Archives. Those are real Archons.
Yeah, and
have to be a little more careful.
I'm curious. I don't believe TeebuL was able to click on the Ling. Maybe he was, because again, when you see that +1 melee, it's like, oh, okay, this does kind of signify that we have Mutas on the way. He does throw down a couple of cannons in his main base, but the Mutas, they're flying in.
They are already flying in. And this is looking easily vulnerable. Quick warp into the Stalkers, though. Gonna be enough to deter EnDerr, but that is an Arctosis pylon right on the edge of the base.
It is,
and
but you know
4
what?
gateways that aren't going to be utilized for this push.
The problem is that TeebuL isn't turning around. He's pushing across the map with his charge lots, with his Archons, with his Immortals, and all that EnDerr's going to have to defend are his Lings and his Mutas.
Yeah, honestly, without Banelings, it's kind of hard to imagine EnDerr being able to hold this, but he is jumping right on in. Mutalisks coming in for the flank. Are they going to be able to take out the Warp Prism? Focusing on the Archons at the moment, but there are a couple of Haluk ones. And EnDerr is not too sure which one's which. The Zerglings get completely evaporated, and the Muta count isn't looking too good. But now that most of the anti-air has been dealt with, EnDerr has pretty much free reign. The charge ships go right on top of the base. the Immortal really cleaning up a lot behind that too.
Yeah, like honestly, EnDerr, he's able to clean up, but not before the Chargers deal some damage as they were able to deal with all the Lings that were on the ground. 9 drones go down, but honestly, I feel like that's okay. Like TeebuL, he lost a lot of high-tech units there, a lot of Immortals, a lot of Archons.
Yeah, I think the big thing there for EnDerr is he did keep his 4th alive, so he's got a lot of larva available to him. And he's kept most of his Mutalisks alive, even going for a 5th base now. So EnDerr not in a bad position whatsoever. I mean, just look at that supply lead he's got.
Yeah, definitely. The big thing, though, is that TeebuL, he's working on that transition. Oh, he has to be careful, loses Phoenix.
Yeah, this is just about the perfect decision coming out from TeebuL right now. Knows that there's not going to be any Baneling Nests out on the ground. So what is he going to focus on? Well, the biggest threat to him are these Mutalisks. And how do you deal with that? Ranged Phoenixes.
Exactly. The Fleet Beacon is done. I imagine we're going to get Aeon Pulse Crystals. And then slipping up TeebuL is, like, when you have Phoenixes, like, you can micro against these mutants. You can, you know, kite backwards and outrange them. But EnDerr, every single time he sees an opportunity, he pounces on them, takes them out.
That is why EnDerr is absolutely someone you want to watch. He will always just jump on these opportunities, and he will not let go until something gives. EnDerr just sharking around right now, seeing what he can get done, grouping up his reinforcements, finally getting that Baneling Nest thrown down. But I don't think it'll come into play too much here.
Yeah,
right,
we'll
EnDerr goes
see.
in, EnDerr goes out.
He does, and you know what? We have +2 here done for these Stalkers. So we have Stalkers in conjunction with the Phoenixes and all these shield batteries. Will EnDerr be able to break this? He's looking to try and go in.
That he is. There is a battery overcharge. These are some pretty good surrounds from the Zerglings, but I don't think that's going to be enough, at least not with these overcharge out. Not too many Phoenixes out right now, but range has just completed. EnDerr's going to have a tough time dealing with those, but I feel like TeebuL just microing a little bit too much. Look at the Phoenix count plummet.
Oh, wow. All the Phoenixes go down. The shield batteries are focused down as well, and there's just not enough on the ground. The Lings are starting to overwhelm everything and just take out all the workers.
Indeed, they are. One Archon here that is just stuck because it is massive. GG!